Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. This is Afternoon Express, and yes, I am back with some of my favorites. We've got Chef Dumi there. How are you doing, girl?
I'm doing amazing, Bale Sachat. Nice to see you too. I'm doing very well today, Bale.
Oh, well, it's always lovely to see you young, youthful, beautiful woman. So I'm always very happy to be in the kitchen and, you know, talking to South Africa, I guess. At the end of the day.
Always brings the good vibes. And listen, I'm so here for it. Healthy plants are the star of the show again on today's plant-based Afternoon Express Masterclass with me, Balisa Tembe. Our regular Chef Charles Walraven is back in the kitchen to show us the best ways to store our fruit and veg and how to make veggie and rice spring rolls with a sweet chili sauce. We're also going to be making creamy mini meal with mushrooms and a gremolata. Remember, if you want any of the details to today's recipes, just head over to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, this week is all about those fruits and vegetables that your doctor keeps telling you that you need to eat more of. But have you ever wondered what is the best way to keep them fresher for longer? Well, worry not, because today we'll be showing you exactly how to do that and make sure that you get the best out of your fresh produce. Chef Chart, as I do sanitize, because we really want to get involved in have a full immersive experience, true sensory experience here in the kitchen. So let's make sure that we are safe, sanitized. Chef, how important is it to have fresh produce and make the most out of your fresh produce?
Well, I think it's so important because you want produce in its sort of, you know, it's an entirety in its purest form, because that's when you're going to maximize the flavor, the goodness, and you start talking nutrients. I mean, when you start looking at the berries here, you know, all those nutrients and what they do for you, it's so important. So you want to keep things fresh. So when you actually come to eat it, not nutritionally is it just good for you, so is the actual structure of it as well. It's not going to sort of decompose and become, you know, smushy and mushy and all horrible. So all those things are really important at the end of the day. And let's face it, we eat with our eyes. So when you start glancing across at the kitchen counter here, and it's just all these sort of vibrant colors, that vibrancy, even if it's a carrot that hasn't been peeled yet, it still looks vibrant. You can have a look at it. And that, to me, is what's so important. So I'm going to delve straight into it. You know, to always look, we eat with our eyes. I mean, beautiful, bright, ruby red strawberries, you know, and it's one smell, you know, that tells you so much. Is it going to be delicious? And straight away, absolutely. How are those mushrooms smelling there to me?
Well, they smell very earthy because they're obviously in that beautiful ground and so forth. And the best way to keep them fresh, because you buy them in store, you don't know how long they've already been in store. So how do you make sure that you keep them even fresher? The best way, a lot of people don't know that moisture and sunlight are by far some of the worst things you can do to your veggies. You don't want them too moist. The more moisture you get, the more molding risk you have. Mushrooms require a nice dry, you know, space. They want air circulation. So you need to make sure the best way, I would say, a brown paper bag that you normally use after you done your shopping. Don't dispose of it. Put them in there. Just ensure that you leave the top open so that the air can circulate in there. These are by far one of the few that do not want moisture. But when we go to, let's say, carrots, for instance, those are very important. Once you've purchased them, give them a beautiful big wash. After you've rinsed them, pat them down with paper towel and then wrap them in a kitchen towel, put them in the fridge. The one thing you want to make sure of is you don't mix your fruits and veggies, though.
Hold up, girl, because now you are challenging my entire existence. I mean, growing up, we always had that one drawer at the bottom of the fridge where we just put all of our fruits and our vegetables all mixed up there. So you're saying, I'm doing it all wrong.
Exactly. There is one gas that is released by fruit called ethylene that actually causes vegetables to rot faster.
Wow.
You don't want that. So if anything, you can put them, there's a crisper drawer, there's a vegetable drawer. Go do some research and see how exactly your fridge is structured and try and make sure that your fruits and veggies are always stored separately. Make sure to wash. Also do some research. We will have all of this information on the website as well, should you want to get more info. But stuff like your broccolis and your cauliflowers, they do well with like not airtight containers. The mushrooms and these, do not put them in airtight containers. They want that air to circulate, and that's very important.
You know, it's you know, as much as being cut off and it's not really living, it's still living, so it needs to breathe. It's so important. So you know, when you go onto here, like for grapes, don't actually wash them straight away. Grapes, you know, store them. Make sure there's, you know, pick through them and check that there's no, you know, bad grapes. Well, there's a classic example that they're starting to get a little bit soft and are starting to, you know, degenerate. So that you want to remove and then just store those in the fridge. These actually at the bottom of the fridge work really well. I find I personally keep my fruit at the top and all my veg at the bottom, exactly because of that. Your strawberries, you know, again, keep them dry. Your berries, in fact, berries are what we term as a high perishable. So they, like, you know, disintegrate very quickly. So if you want a little bit of longevity, you can do a vinegar bath. So 3 parts of water to 1 part vinegar. Plunge all your berries into there, then strain it off, pat them dry and store them. And basically that vinegar is like a bit of a coating to
shield of
protect them.
armor.
A shield of armor, absolutely.
Okay.
Then we start going on to things like avocados, tomatoes, and your stone fruit, plums, nectarines, peaches and stuff. What you want to do is you make sure they're ripe. So if they're not ripe, leave them on the counter. No direct sunlight. You know, light is sort of very degenerative of the whole sort of process with fruits. So be very careful of that. Once they're ripe, then pop them into the fridge and and store them. And same with things like with lettuces, cabbages. Keep them nice and whole. Don't cut them. The moment you create the surface area, then it's going to start to deteriorate very quickly.
We do see that browning that normally happens
Absolutely.
sometimes.
Now, one of my little tricks I always do is take a little bit of kitchen towel, a little bit of water, and just literally just make it damp enough, yeah? And that onto a cut surface. Or if you think of, spinach that's been pre-cut for you, I mean, that you can always leave, a hole in a little bit of water. Same for herbs. Keep your herbs always damp. They last so much longer, covered like that, neatly in the fridge, and everything will last that much longer, and you can enjoy them. They're lovely and fresh.
Definitely. I mean, the proof is definitely in the pudding. I've also just been munching away on the fresh produce on today's show. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to be incorporating the best way to keep our fruit and veggies fresh as ever, but in each recipe. And if perhaps you've missed out on any of the information we've just shared, then head over to www.afternoonexpress.co.za for more tips on how to keep your fruits and veggies fresher for longer. Now, chefs Plum and Chart, we love to engage with our fans online, right?
Yeah, we know.
Absolutely.
And today's question is keeping this theme on advice going. Now, Tumi has just shared that did you know mushrooms are best stored in paper bags? So what is your secret to keeping your food fresher for longer? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, we all love some spring rolls, especially when they're packed with healthy veggies. Now, that's exactly what we're going to be making coming up, and we're serving them with sweet chili sauce. Delicious. back to the show. Now, the reason why we have insurance is so that we can protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our possessions in times of need. And when the time comes to make a claim, we don't want to be caught off guard with fine print or getting lost in the admin and stress of it all. And that's why I met with the Standard Bank insurance team to make sure I get the full breakdown now on what to do when the time comes later. Let's be real. We all have a friend or a family member who has the nightmare story about the one time they needed to claim from their insurer. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be that person. All you need is the right insurer on your side. That's why I'm meeting with the team from Standard Bank. Shaquille, thank you so much for spending time with me today and breaking down the different claims processes. But I want to find out from you, what is the difference between household contents and all-risk cover? And why is it so important to get all-risk cover?
Effectively, home contents cover covers all your personal possessions inside your home. If you had to take your home and tip it upside down, everything that falls out is covered under home contents cover. All risk cover, on the other hand, covers you for personal possessions outside your home. So, for example, if you had to leave your home with a watch or electronic equipment, you need to specify that under your insurance policy, and that's the main difference between the two types of covers.
What are some of the key pointers I need to be aware of when it comes to both claim processes?
One of the biggest problems we have specifically in home contents cover, a client needs to make sure that the sum insured is adequate, so that in the event that there's a total loss, we as the insurer are able to then indemnify them to their full capacity. From an all-risk point of view, a client needs to ensure that the high-value jewelry items, portable electronic equipment, and items you generally take out of your house on a daily basis are specified under your policy, so that in the event that something unfortunate does occur, we as the insurer can then pay you out as well.
To make sure that I don't run into any problems when it comes to homeowners claim, do you have any advice for me?
Yes. So it's probably one of the biggest misconceptions there is today. So one must remember that the homeowner's cover is not a maintenance cover. It is rather a cover in place. If something unforeseen occurs, we as the insurer could then step in and assist you. So in order to ensure that there are no issues at claim stage, one must ensure that maintenance is done on one's property on a regular basis. A good example of this is one needs to ensure that their gutters are cleaned on a regular basis. They need to ensure that their roofs are checked on a continuous basis and so forth. One must also ensure that electronic items such as gate motors or garage motors are serviced on a regular basis to ensure that when it comes to claim stage, there are no issues at that point in time. That's probably one of the biggest advices I can give out to the public, to say, please maintain your homes on a continuous basis.
Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I think it's safe to say I've got a strong understanding of household contents and all risk cover. Life can be difficult, but dealing with your insurer shouldn't be. Let the team guide you to make your next insurance claim easy peasy. Give them a call or visit them online.
Get an insurance quote for your home or car and stand a chance to win one of 8 Samsung Galaxy S21 phones plus 100 gigs of Standard Bank mobile data for a year. To enter, SMS the keyword motor to 31492 to get a callback and quote, and you could be a winner.
That is exactly what today's show is all about, getting the right advice to ensure that, everything is maintained and insured in this kitchen. Now, from insurance to making sure that we have nothing but the freshest fruits and veggies. Enjoying a plant-based diet does not have to be as dreadful as most people make it. You can add as much flavor to your dish whilst getting all those much-needed nutrients. And we'll be showing you exactly how to do this with our veggie and rice spring rolls. Delicious, Dumi, but I'm also also curious, rice in a spring roll?
Yeah, Palesa, we're trying to make sure that we stretch our meals. It's all about making sure your fruit and veg goes a long way, but also so you stay fuller for longer as well, which is why it's perfect. We've chosen to use XL rice, Palesa, because as you know, 1 cup of uncooked rice gives you 2 cups. So you know that you're going to get a whole lot more than you initially bargained for. Now, Chef, you'll be doing the stir fry for us, which has a nice tangy sauce that goes together with the rice. And then I'm going to be showing exactly how to roll the spring roll, because spring is rolling in. So we need to make sure that our recipes are just as light and airy.
Oh, well, it's all about wonderful oriental flavors. So if you can pop a little dash of oil into each of those for me, it'll be great.
Tell me when to stop.
Oh, stop. Too much. Sorry, let me take a little bit from here.
Okay,
you know,
cool.
when in doubt, it's fine. Let's just share a little bit over there. Sharing is caring. Absolutely. Anyway, so what we're going to do is some ginger and garlic. We're going to pop that into a pan. So again, there's going to be lots of depths of flavour, that freshness from that ginger as well.
I tasted that.
And then, you know, a bit of soy sauce. So that wonderful sort of salty, umami kind of flavour. And then, a little bit of honey.
I love that. Balancing those flavours again.
Okay, so again, you can imagine you've got that saltiness. You know, you've got that earthy tones coming through from the freshness from the garlic and the ginger. Now you need that sugar just to balance it out. You haven't got honey, a little bit of sugar, a bit of golden syrup, you can alternate. But obviously honey, you're going to use a lot more volume because it's a lot more delicate than saying like, you know, golden syrup or something like that you need to add into it. So that's going to go into there and you just want to sort of reduce that down. And that's the sauce, that's the flavour that you actually are talking about. And that pan, I'm just going to wait for a little bit, you know, heat to get up there. I want it to start to smoke. Very important.
Yes. Okay.
Smoke. Get it cooking. So we can cook that very quickly. But tell us, what are you up to now?
I'm out here having the time of my life. I'm making a slurry or a paste that we're going to be using to seal our spring roll. Because I know I've noticed a lot of people, when they try to make a spring roll, what ends up happening is that your filling then seeps out. So we want to make sure that we seal it tightly and make sure that none of your filling escapes. And we're using carrots today, Chef. And I don't know if many people know that if you're going to be working with carrots, or another way to keep them fresher for longer, is to make sure you take the top off. Remove the top off, because that's where the leaves are. And what that happens is that if you keep the leaves on, they actually draw out the moisture from your carrots, and you don't want that. You want to make sure they stay nice and crisp and fresh.
Very important and very key to remember, as we are talking about keeping our fruits and our veggies fresher for longer, what we need to do is chop off the tops of our carrot heads, and that is going to essentially ensure that we've got nothing but the best, keeping all the flavour and moisture within there. Now, Domi, creating the spring roll, mixing it all together.
Now, Pali, I've got this mixture that Chef is already made for, or is making for us. You see there, he's got some fresh carrots, he's got some peppers, got some red cabbage. You need to ensure that the mixture cools down, otherwise you won't be able to handle it. So it is important that that's done. And then I've got some phyllo pastry. Today I'm using phyllo pastry, but you can actually buy the spring roll wrappers, because those are available as well. And what I've done is I've cut a little square for my phyllo wrappers, phyllo pastry. And all I'm doing is I'm wrapping it into a little bit of a cigar and making sure to secure the bottom of our phyllo pastry. And then you roll it. And then before you get too far, remember this paste that I made a little earlier? I've got it over here. You put it on the very edges, which is where you want to ensure that the sealing happens, because you don't want your filling to seep out. So I'm going to put a generous amount here, but I'm going to make sure I flatten it out so that nothing comes out of our
So then, Domi, would you say if we do not get that paste to make sure it's sealed properly, if we don't get that paste right and that consistency right, our spring roll could essentially fall apart?
Correct, Vanessa. It could fall apart, and we don't want that. We want to make sure we roll it nicely and tightly, and you want to make sure that you seal it correctly. Once it's sealed, all we need to do is we need to fry these babies to perfection and make sure we get that beautiful golden brown taste, which is what we're going to be using our Exceller oil for right now.
So we have put quite a generous amount of Exceller oil within that deep frying pan that Domi's about to use, because at the end of the day, Exceller oil is light, clear and odorless, and it's also suitable for frying, grilling, baking and just so much more. Exceller oil has that neutral taste that we're looking for, which enhances the flavor of our food, maintaining that and meaning that you get the best quality for your family. Food is better at the end of the day together with Exceller. And Chef, when I did bite into my spring roll, the veggies were very crunchy. They were very fresh. There was no sogginess here.
Absolutely. So I've actually already turned the heat off now, because you want to keep them. You want them still to be, you know, I've got asbestos hands, by the way. So you get. you've got a crunch top. Really important to have that now, because remember, you're going to be cooking it again. So heat it off. I'm going to take that lovely bit of dressing that we made. I'm going to pour that. Oh, yes, look at that. Get all
It's already
that
looking like
gorgeous
an Asian
flavour.
stir-fry.
Well, I mean, it's exactly that. And you're just going to mix everything together just like that, and then allow that to cool down, and then pop that and mix it with your rice. And that's that filling that Tumi had earlier on, with all that wonderful, rich, dark, golden hue coming through. But yes, don't overcook these. Anything you got, don't overcook. You can see how firm, you know, my peppers still are.
Look, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Dumi, on your station, how long does the spring roll go into the oil?
Not a lot, Bale. So all we need is this beautiful golden crispy color. About a minute to 2. Just make sure you keep your eyes on it because you don't want it to burn.
Yeah.
Iconic. To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients list. And if you want to find out about an exciting new competition coming to Afternoon Express, check this out. Are you a newly qualified chef and have a strong personality to be on TV? If the answer is yes, enter the Excella Young Chef competition to stand a chance to compete on Afternoon Express for 10,000 Rand and a year's supply of Excella products to kickstart your career. Just follow the easy steps. Go to the Excella Young Chef competition post on the Afternoon Express Facebook or Twitter page. Click on the link and upload a video of yourself sharing your name, a short intro about yourself, where and when you qualified as a chef, and describe your Excella signature dish using Excella rice, oil, or mayonnaise. Entries close at midday on Monday, the 18th of October, 2021. T's and C's for the competition can be found at afternoonexpress.co.za. All right. I see the stakes are pretty high here on Afternoon Express.
Pretty high, Bale.
I'm looking forward to it. I wish I was a newly qualified chef so I can put my name in the drawer and hopefully walk away with that 10,000 Rand and all that Excella. Very exciting stuff. Now, if you want to zhuzh up your pap, then you have to stick around for our decadent creamy mini meal recipe topped off with caramelized mushrooms and a Gremolata. Yummy. back to Afternoon Express. Now, Tumi, Chef Chart, you've promised to zhuzh up something that is a staple in South African households. Millipap.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we're going down one of these roads that, you know, when you don't change something that's so classic, so traditional, and that is so part of our heritage in South Africa. So I'm always, you know, I'm game for, you know, changing things up, but I certainly have some friends that are very much, you stick to the traditions. Like an Italian recipe, you don't change it. This is one of those things I'm sure lots of people are going to say, don't change, but hey, I'm up for saying new.
Let's see how we're about to turn it up in the kitchen. Now, if you love the decadent and creamy taste of mushrooms and pap, then this next recipe is for you. We're cooking creamy millipap topped with caramelized mushrooms and a fresh gremolata garnish on the top of it. I mean, it's a meal and it's going to be a bowl of yumminess. Tumi, you've offered us nothing but the best in here.
Nothing but the best, Balisa. I love flavor. I love taste. I love something that makes my tummy do star jumps and cartwheels and all of that. And this is what this dish packs. It packs flavor, it packs nutrition, and it makes the most of our fresh produce. We've been talking about mushrooms. We've been talking about all these different things. And right now we're going to be making them. We're going to be celebrating it. So maize, in essence, is corn in a different way. It's just been ground up. So to start it off, Chef, I've just put some of our Clover Classic fat spread into your pan, because that's how we're going to be searing or frying up our mushrooms. And in here, I've also got some water that's been boiling, because before we papa, it is very important to make sure that the water is hot, because it has to boil and to cook down. This is something very similar to polenta, Palace. I don't know if you've heard of polenta.
I love polenta.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. We're just putting our spin on it. And to start it off, I'm also going to scoop a very generous amount of my Clover Classic fat spread into my boiling water as well, because what I want to do is I want it to dissolve in there. This is what's going to give that creamy flavor that we're talking about in our creamy pap.
And what I like about this product is that it's just absolutely versatile. I mean, it's a fat spread that is versatile use in a spread, in baking, or in cooking it. And we're kind of making use of both ways here. I mean, this spread is ideal for everyday use, and just a touch goes a long way. And it's an incredible source of 10 vitamins, which I'm personally here for. So what is a gremolata for all of our viewers who might not know?
So gremolata is basically a green herb sauce. A green herb sauce, very simply, you've got some parsley, a little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of oil, and that's it. It's something very simple, very fresh. So you can imagine that wonderful freshness you're going to get from the parsley, lemon, and then you've got that wonderful sort of, you know, fat that's going to coat your mouth. But there's lots of different variations that you can start adding in. I mean, you've got some, you know, sunflower seeds going into it.
Yeah.
You start going down, you know, you might have heard the word salsa verde. You know, and then you're starting to get anchovies that start coming into it. So there's lots of different variations that we get, but something you want to go pair beautifully. I mean, parsley and mushrooms, great combination. Now you're talking lemons, perfect combination. And then you've got that wonderful, you know, if you've got a pecorino or a Parmesan cheese to go on the top there, and then to go with that pap that's just giving you the body and the lift, really.
I love that. On my side, you know, that's exactly the station I'm on, and I'm quite well underway in creating this gremolata. My parsley is already chopped up. It's in there. My sunflower seeds are in there too. We also have this delicious lemon zest here that Chef and Tumi has already prepared. How much do I put in? I'm just going to put in all of it, because why not? I've also got this lemon juice that Chef has told me about. Now, it's interesting, Chef, that I'm going to take some of your oil, add it in here as well. And you said the oil is just for that extra coat of fattiness.
Yeah, that fattiness, you know, that sort of, that real richness there, but obviously sort of carries all the parsley and everything else as well. I mean, you can put it into a liquidizer and just blend it up, but I mean, we've got you working doing that as well. So you can imagine that freshness, and then to here, always season again. Good pinch of salt in the mushrooms here, a little black pepper as well, and then thyme. If you haven't got thyme, rosemary. If you haven't got that, maybe a bit of sage. Think of it like a hard herb. Something that's sort of quite robust that can go into here.
Tumi, this is definitely a trend that I'm seeing coming up quite frequently in this recipe. We are using very, very hard, strong herbs.
Correct, Balisa. And they're going to work very well with this recipe, because what I've got here is I've got that creamy pap that we made earlier. I just covered it a few minutes ago. I let it release some of its steam. I'm going to cover it again and let it cook through. Luckily for today, I'm using that instant pap, so it's going to be finished very quickly. And as you can see, I've made it very soft, Balisa, because we don't want it to be that hard pap that you eat when you're having like stews and stuff. You want it to be nice and creamy and soft, like the polenta consistency. And then to it, just before I dish it up, I'm going to add some of our Parmesan, like you said, Chef. The flavor of the Parmesan works very well with the flavors of the mushroom and those herbs that you're putting into it.
Absolutely. I mean, you're starting to get that umami flavor coming through here. And then I'm going to take it another step further here, a little bit of balsamic vinegar. It could be a little bit of white vinegar. It could be even just a little bit of lemon juice. So you can really substitute, if if you haven't got it, start thinking, what's going to be sharp? What's going to give me that wonderful acidity on the palate? Because now you've got something that's going to be sharp. The mushrooms are going to absorb all that flavour. And how's it all working together?
Beautifully. This is delicious. And Tumi, I see exactly what you're talking about by saying you don't necessarily have to go with pap. You can go with a polenta. You can go with couscous. Chef, you also was giving us rice options also. How about a creamy risotto type grain?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine that creaminess. Which in essence is what you got here. I mean, a risotto is just a lot more of a looser consistency. So again, that could work, beautifully as well with that on top. I mean, vegetarian, food can be absolutely delicious. So start thinking of your layers. Creaminess, that richness, that voluptuous note. Then the acidity from the mushrooms and the umami-ness. And then you got that lovely freshness going to the parsley. I think it's a great recipe that you ladies have put together and made it look so beautiful.
It looks delicious. You definitely are eating with your eyes here. This finished product is just iconic. And also, as soon as I had a first bite, it definitely is that yumminess hug in a bowl that we asked for. Now, simple and super easy. To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste. Made with love by Clover.
Today is all about those tips, tricks, and advice when it comes to keeping things fresher for longer in our kitchen. Now, Dumi, a recipe like this, are we able to freeze it to keep it fresher for longer and enjoy later?
You're definitely able to freeze your maize meal once it's been cooked because it's already been cooked down. Just make sure you vacuum seal that. And then your mushrooms, Chef, they are sponges, so it is safer not to freeze them because they are sponges. It's safer to use them at least within that 3 to 5 days, or just if you're using them in a bolognese, something like that, then definitely freeze it.
I love that, keeping our food fresher for longer. Keep your advice coming on our social media platforms. But when we return, it's time for dessert. And we're whipping up tasty mini vanilla plum cakes served with custard. back to Afternoon Express. Now, Chef Tumi, this is what it's all about. It's all about getting advice, tips and tricks, but today specifically with fruits and veg.
And enjoying them once you've figured out how to keep them fresher for longer.
Well, here is to enjoying, and we're about to get into some plums. Now, what would you say to a little vanilla plum cake served with some silky custard? Well, we think it sounds and tastes delicious. So today we're serving you ripe plums in a light cookie crumb. Yes, please. I mean, serve me up some more and more and more, Dooms.
And more and more. And Palace, I love the fact that you've already started by opening up that beautiful bottle of Clover Classic Custard, because it pairs perfectly with this dessert, being that it is a vanilla base in terms of the cake itself, and then we're pairing it with the sweetness of the plums that are nice and ripe. It is very versatile. It's perfect even on its own, and I see you're about to dig in. So while you do that, the rest of us are going to get started on
We're going to get to work, you know.
I mean, first of all, I'm just so impressed at how this looks. As soon as you crack this dessert open, it's almost perfect just from looking at it, and hopefully it tastes as perfect. So here goes nothing.
While you do that, tell us.
No, it's so good. Okay, I want to learn how to do this. I want to get it right.
Well, let's do the sort of the batter first. So in here I've got some sugar and butter that's already been whisked together. You know, they say, you know, cream it till it's light and fluffy. That really does help with a wonderful aeration. And then to that, I'm going to add in my eggs. So crack an egg into there. And then just start to incorporate egg at a time, yeah? Now, it can sometimes look that it's sort of slightly split. Don't worry about that. You can always, if you like really worried, then add a little bit of flour and alternate your flour and egg. That just really helps sort of bring everything together as you go. So anyway, I'm just going to crack on here. I'm confident. It's one of those sort of things, you can literally just beat it until it all comes together. And that's all that you really need to do. So, all right, eggs are in like that. Then I add in my flour. So sprinkle.
Oh, that's a lot of flour in that mix. Okay.
Well, remember, I've already got the eggs. There's a lot of stuff going into here, and I've got some yogurt as well on top of that. So a lot of wet ingredients. So I need to absorb that volume of flour. Again, rather do it in batches. Sometimes it's quite fine to do so. So really bring it up. A little bit of theatre in here, but anyway, that's all right.
Love the
bit
drama
of fun.
of it.
You know,
I
a little bit
love
of
the drama of it.
Oh, yes, indeed. Right. So into that, I'm going to put the rest of my flour, and then to help it, so I don't have to work too hard and exhaust myself, in with your lovely bit of yogurt as well.
And it was a very moist kind of cake container, I want to call it. Before the plums came in, you really did make sure that that sponge is delicious. And is that because you were able to measure out these ingredients and the different notes, I suppose, like how you said, the wet and the dry, putting it together quite beautifully to make sure the consistency is right?
Absolutely, and quickly, get it mixed together, boom.
Okay.
Really quick. It's very important with batters like this here. Just mix everything together, and then into with your different seasonings. So I'm going to put a little bit of lemon zest in here as well, and that's really going to go and work wonders.
But I love the fact, Dooms, that he is using some lemon zest. It definitely came through when I did take the bite of that dessert. I felt and I tasted that freshness.
And it pairs perfectly. You were talking about the moisture in this cake. It pairs perfectly with the plum itself, because once it's cooked, it releases all those juices, giving more moisture to your cake batter as well. So all I've done is I've cut up these plums and make sure to keep the halves full. And we're going to plop this mixture into our cake tins. I've just made sure to use some greaseproof paper to make sure that we can plop them out. As you can see, if you pick up one of those, Balu, you can see that it's got this beautiful design on the outside. That was intentional because we want them to not only taste good, but also look good.
Okay. I can see around the body of the cake. It's got little grooves, and is that provided by that paper?
This greaseproof paper, yes, Balu. So you could use muffin cups as well, but in this instance, we like to we always say the chef, you eat with your eyes as well.
Absolutely.
So,
it's all visual appeal. I mean, you can almost, if you're going sort of away somewhere on a road trip, leave them in the bag, and that's your sort of like little vessel to munch away and devour. And then you're going to pop your fruit on there, which Tumi is doing. Now, here's my little trick. What happens when fruit goes into a batter? It sinks down.
Heavier.
So when you're doing a bigger piece is going to sit, you can see it just goes down, but certainly little bits go down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Just coat them, a little bit of ice and sugar, a little bit of corn flour, and that basically keeps them suspended through your bake.
How do you
There we
know
are.
this? I mean, Chef Chart, I'm
I
loving
baked
that.
once or twice.
I want to make sure that it looks good, but I also don't want my plum to go all the way to the bottom. That would be
Absolutely.
unfortunate.
So again, even if you're going for a plum that's a little bit, sort of softer,
Yeah.
again, just coat it a little bit of corn flour, a little icing sugar, just to help absorb that liquid content. Because more liquid, what we're going to do is just going to sort of drop it and sink it to the bottom.
And you definitely want to get in on this magic, tasting absolutely delicious. And to get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste. Made with love by Clover.
As we continue the show giving all things advice on food, let us touch base on some advice with fashion. I love wearing a cute athleisure look or my comfortable tracksuit, but not when it's covered with bubbles. I recently met with the skip experts and Nicole Driver from Siemens, who shared some much needed advice on how to prevent bubbles. During the past few months, athleisure has become a very popular fashion trend around the globe. Most people are working from home and just popping out for a few quick errands. Therefore, most of us are living in our tracksuits. But what bothers me the most is when those annoying little bubbles appear on my athleisure and sportswear. It's not always possible to take them off without damaging your fabric. So I've turned to the experts at Skip and let me share their advice with you. Bubbles are caused by friction during wear and using the incorrect wash procedures. Bubbles can occur on many types of fabric and aged garments, such as jerseys, sportswear, tracksuits, and alike. Once they're there, the only way to remove them is with a bubble remover, but that's not always ideal. It makes sense to prevent them from happening in the first place. Skip anti-aging detergent is scientifically formulated to protect fibers and help prevent damage during wash. Always remember, wash garments inside out. Never overload your machine. Use cool temperatures. Reduce spinning and hang to dry. Using the right detergent makes good sense. But we also need to have the right washing machine. And here to tell us more is Nicole Driver from Siemens. Nicole, I am loving you in your sportswear.
Hi, Pelisa, you look fantastic in yours.
What do you love about this trend?
I absolutely love this athleisure trend. I'm working from home at the moment, so it really gives me the opportunity to be super comfortable in my outfit. And if I have to attend a meeting, I just put a really nice top on. Being a mom of two, when my kids do get home, I'm able to play with them, and there are so many choices out there at the moment.
Choice, choice, choice. Nicole, it is about choice at the end of the day and finding the correct washing machine to suit your needs. So then how does the Siemens Idos washing machine prevent bubbles?
Our Siemens Idos washing machine is designed to wash clothes under the optimal conditions. The entire wash procedure is automatically assessed to check on the weight of the load, so overloading can be prevented. Selecting the correct temperature combined with a gentle drum action will protect fabrics from too much friction, which can also cause fabric damage. And of course, you are able to reduce temperature and duration of the wash on most programs without compromising on the results.
My ears pop up when I hear the word saving, Nicole, whether I'm saving with my budget or saving the environment. I also heard that the Siemens washing machine uses less water.
The Siemens Idos washing machine uses as little as 50 liters of water for a full wash, and its energy rating means that the machine cares for your budget as well as the planet. We recommend Skip Auto for the best performance in our machines because we are confident that Siemens and Skip will deliver perfect results every time.
You know, girl, one thing about you, you're always about your business. But it's also so lovely to see you looking sporty and ready for the gym, ne? That's Siemens and Skip anti-aging detergent for you. It's the smart choice. Now, one of our very lucky viewers stands a chance to win a state-of-the-art Siemens washing machine to the value of 11,000 Rand, together with a year's supply of Skip anti-aging detergent. Simply reply to the competition post on the Afternoon Express Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page with the hashtag #SkipSiemens to enter and tell us why you deserve a brand new washing machine. T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. clothes for longer with Siemens and Skip anti-aging detergent. Hi, Mzansi. You heard it here first. I think most of us are living in our athleisure, whether we're working from home or studying, so definitely some incredible advice to keep in mind. But as we keep on cooking in the kitchen, we've got the perfect refreshing drink with the most refreshing flavors to wash down our amazing meals as we make orange coffee and a chocolate grape coffee mocktail when we return. Not only are we welcoming you back here on Afternoon Express, but guys, we have been speaking, we've been cooking, and I think it's safe to say I'm ready to wash it all down.
Yeah, I'm parched, Bali. I need a drink.
Hallelujah! Music to my ears. Now, summer is here, and nothing's better than spending time hanging out with friends and family. And no summer socializing is complete without a refreshing drink. Coffee is one of my favorite drinks, so much so that I can't live without it. And today, we're brewing it our way by giving this latest addition to the House of Coffee's range a summery twist by making super tasty, fruity coffee mocktails. Dumi, this sounds so interesting, but also so complex. How easy can making this recipe be?
Very easy, Palisa. We've started ours very simply because we've already made our coffee and we're using the finely ground one. In essence, we could say that this is the, not the espresso, but the medium one. So we're using, it's ground almost to the point of sea salt flakes. That's what we're talking, that's how we're differentiating it. And Chef, you're going to be doing this is like the machine drip. You're going to be doing the chunkier one where you're plunging it for us.
What are you trying to say, you know? The chunkier one, yeah, you know?
Chunky,
oh, my
chunky.
goodness.
House of Coffee's extra special blend is an infusion of fragrant South American and bold African coffee beans, delivering caramel notes together with a woody and nutty aroma to be enjoyed by all.
Well, I need to get some sort of coffee brewing, more importantly, first on there. So, to make actually a cup of coffee, take 1.5 teaspoons of your coffee into there. And then you need to measure out 200 mils of hot water. So I'm just going to sort of have a look at that, just like there. Stop that in. And then pour that into there. And then, very important now, leave it alone for 2 minutes precisely, actually. So have a little timer, or set your clock or anything, and just put the lid on top like that, and just leave it. Don't push it yet. You now need to allow that infusion of coffee to penetrate into the water to that wonderful bit of flavour.
Okay. And on our station, Tumi, we already had our coffee made, and that's what's in these little glasses.
Yes.
Already made instant coffee. And you've asked us to add in the honey in this mixture, work it all in so that the honey dissolves.
Yeah, we're dissolving our honey in the coffee, so you can put all your coffee in there, Palisa.
Oh, all of it,
mix
girl?
it all together, yes. We're making an orange-flavoured drink, and then, Chef, you're making a grape-flavoured drink, which is, again, using the freshness of our fruits and veggies like we keep talking, and just pairing it perfectly with the coffee blends, and it's going to give us that nice, beautiful aroma paired with the flavors of the orange. Now, Pali, while Chef waits for that other 2 minutes, we're going to get done with our drinks. The next step to our drink now is we're going to squeeze some of our fresh juice onto the glass with ice. We've got it nicely chilled in there, so squeeze it all in there, as much of the juice as you can get. It's a very refreshing drink. It comes alive, I think, in your tummy. It comes alive on your tongue, and it brings your senses back to life.
If you really want to maximize, sorry, I'm going to interrupt there, maximize on your orange juice. Pop your orange into the microwave for about sort of 30-40 seconds.
Oh.
And that releases the cells, and you can just sort of squeeze that gorgeous bit of freshness out. Right, back to you, Tumi.
And then on top of that, we add some of our sparkling water. We're creating somewhat of something that looks amazing, not just tastes amazing. And then we finish it off. When we add our coffee mixture here with the honey, we're pouring it at the back of our spoon to create those different layers. I think by the time we're done with the Chef, you should be ready with your coffee.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start actually pushing down with the plunger now to now separate the coffee from the actual liquid components.
Tumi, how did you do this without creating a mess? I'm calling foul play.
What are you looking at there? Anyway, well, I'm going to crack on with mine there, because I need to do our next step to sort of, keep going whilst, Polly plays in the kitchen here. And I'm going to pop my chocolate into my cocktail shaker. And because I've made hot coffee, I'm going to pour that into there. So about 100 mils into there goes. And now that heat is just going to gently melt the chocolate. Remember, chocolate hopefully is all made out of cocoa butter. Yeah, that's what you lather your body with, ladies, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and that sort of, melts at body temperature. So just think, you don't need something that's really hot. So you want that wonderful infusion to come through together, so make sure it's not piping hot.
What I'm excited about using this special blend of House of Coffee is because House of Coffees offers superior quality coffee beans sourced from only the finest coffee estates from around the world. And this has been providing consistent superior quality in every cup since 1964.
Right, so I think my chocolate is melted sufficiently there. A little bit of grape juice goes in there, and then a little dash of tonic water. And then we're going to give it a bit of a shake. Be very careful. If it is sort of, saying it is still very hot, or you're making a large amount, you've got sort of the, hot content, always just put a tea towel over it, so if it actually does sort of pop open or anything like that, you can protect it and, make sure you don't actually end up with all that there. But you need to quickly sort of shake it, and it's as simple as that.
Now, what's super special, Chef Chart, about this range of coffees is that this product is perfectly prepared in 3 different ways. You can use an espresso machine, plunger, or filter machine.
All the blends are all sort of made for specific things, So, talking about the grinds of the coffee, you're going to get something a little bit more sort of, coarser here. Machine coffee, you're going to get something a little bit more, slightly different in terms of its micron. So all those things are really important to the style of coffee that you want to do. But all I need to do now is take my coffee mocktail that I've made.
I'd say, Palisa, to describe exactly what you're saying. So the chunkier, you use it for a plunger. For the machine drip, more like the sea salt, like what we're using here. And then for the espresso, you will use the finer one that's more like fine salt that you have at home.
Very exciting stuff. Now, I'm going to look forward to tasting this just now. But again, if you want the details and the recipe list of anything that we've created today and these refreshing drinks, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. To help you hashtag brew it your way, we've got amazing prizes up for grabs. House of Coffee's extra special blend coffee brewing kits worth 1,500 Rand each. To stand a chance to win one of 5 of these incredible kits, simply share your homemade coffee recipes on the Afternoon Express Facebook, Twitter or Instagram pages. Make sure you include a picture of your recipe and any pack of House of Coffees using the hashtag brew it your way. The competition closes on Tuesday, the 19th of October. T's and C's can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. And again, you already know where to get the full ingredients list and recipe. Chef Charts, I am starving. So before we dive into all of our delicious meals today, do you want to remind us of what we cooked up?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we started talking about fruit and preserving things, but we cooked spring rolls. Oh, that wonderful oriental dressing, and then pap, going down the non-traditional route with those gorgeous caramelized onions and a Gremolata on top there. And then who doesn't like something a little sweet on the side just to sort of finish off the deal with some plums and then a quick little mocktail. So cheers, ladies.
Cheers, cheers. Now, I'm very surprised. I was not a believer when it came to this mocktail. I was like, an orange coffee mocktail, a chocolate grape coffee mocktail. I mean, but this is delicious. It is very refreshing. And I love the fact that it's being served cold. How are you guys finding your mocktails?
No, I'm enjoying mine as well. I definitely am enjoying mine. The flavor of the orange pairs so perfectly with the woodiness of the coffee itself. But Balsa, I'm actually looking forward to tucking into this private scoop up that we made a little earlier, as well as those mushrooms and the Gremolata. So I'll let you know exactly what I think about that afterwards.
Definitely going to get your review on all of that. But Chef Charts, we are speaking about not only preserving and keeping our fruits and vegetables fresher for longer, but I want to take this conversation hopefully a step forward. I mean, we have asked our viewers what advice they would give them and what they do at home to make sure that they keep their fresh produce fresher for longer. But when we have to preserve, what other things come to mind?
Well, I think we can start taking things, we have things that are in season, so you have this abundance, so sometimes you can end up with a box of plums or a box of strawberries. But you can start taking and making a plum jam or a plum reserve or a plum chutney, for instance. And same with your mushrooms, you can start pickling your mushrooms. I mean, like a Gremolata, I make a massive batch of it. Lots of oil, keep it in the fridge, and, I just sort of take spoons of it every so often. It's going to last you a couple of weeks. Another little top tip with that parsley that's in there, blanch it. So put it into boiling water for 30 seconds, into ice cold water, then chop it up and use it. That's going to give that wonderful, vibrant greenness sort of to stay alive for that much longer. So little things like that. So you can start cooking something, but then put it into a pickle of sorts there, or you can start freezing it, so there's lots of different things there. You can really start taking the abundance of produce a lot further.
I've also been tasting my way through the show from the top, and again, nothing but deliciousness and also high quality food here. So we've been celebrating fruits and vegetables, Dumi, this entire week. Any highlights for you?
It has to be just the way that we've been able to handle the fruit and veggies and celebrate them, because so many times people, it's all about the meat and all about the starch and never about the vegetables. Like so many times that people say, I'd never become vegetarian. I'm like, you don't understand how much what you're missing, because vegetables are divine and you get so much from them.
I've enjoyed everything on today's show and from Tuesday's show. So I have to thank you both for always coming through and providing that knowledge and that advice that we need to take and practice at home. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Now, after this week, you will never again be in a pickle about what to do with your veggies. And in case you've missed any of the steps or recipes, please be sure to catch our repeats on Saturday mornings from 8:30 a.m. Then do join us again next week, Tuesday and Thursday from 5:30 p.m. as we show you how to make your own fake aways at home with Chef Dion Vengatas and, of course, Uspogazi. But until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe and happy eating. Here's to the season of sunny breakfasts, healthy lunch breaks in the great outdoors, and romantic sunset dinners made with love by Clover.
Nada.